Bill 24 has made its impact at NAIT as it has now been passed.
Haic Canvas is back for the third time and had a record number of submissions.
A new event including lots of lights has hit the track at Castro Raceway.
Hello and welcome to Second Edition News. A provincial bill that's passed legislation is having an impact here at NAIT.
That's right, Tony. Bill 24 protects students that are involved in gay-straight alliances. NAIT councillors agree with the passing and look forward to the results ahead.
How far in here are we on? Right at the door.
Student Program Coordinator Tim Ira feels that this added protection and privacy of the students will allow them to thrive.
It allows a student to explore their identity, really develop a sense of who they are, and potentially get to a place where they can have a conversation with their parents on their own when they're ready for that.
Tim feels by the time LGBTQ students graduate from high school, they will be more comfortable with themselves heading into post-secondary.
Well, Edmonton is certainly looking good as #Haic Canvas takes over the city streets.
The exciting art initiative is now on display, and our reporter Amber Bernard has more.
Haic Canvas is in its third year. The public art exhibition showcases various artists and art mediums. Most of the artwork will be featured along the LRT lines. The Edmonton Arts Council celebrated the launch with local artists at the Mile Zero Dance Space Tuesday night.
First, we wanted to give emerging artists an opportunity. We wanted to give an opportunity to artists who haven't had the opportunity to exhibit their artwork in the public realm. And we also just wanted to do something where we were kind of putting artwork in people's lives on an everyday basis.
The exhibition gives Edmontonians a chance to have their artwork recognized on a larger scale. This year's artwork was chosen from over 500 submissions.
You do a piece of work and it's hanging in somebody's home, and it's even nicer if you can share it and it's in the middle of the community, and so many more people can see it, relate to it, and just resonate with it one way or another. That's a really nice thing.
The exhibition focuses on new and local artists giving their artwork exposure and something Edmontonians can enjoy. Artwork like this will be on rotation every 2 months until April of 2018. You can view an interactive map on edmontonarts.ca, which locates the pieces in and around the city. For Second Edition News, I'm Amber Bernard.
Some political leaders have been known to achieve celebrity status, and the new federal NDP leader is no different. Jagmeet Singh made his stop in Edmonton as part of a cross-country tour that began 1 month ago. Singh is the first visible minority to lead a federal political party, and his Love and Courage platform helps spread the power of positivity.
I get a lot of good feedback on the Love and Courage slogan. They're like, hey, that Love and Courage, when you used it during that video that came up, we're really impressed by that. And I think that's cool, because I think we see a lot of divisive messages in the world, and when a positive message that brings people together goes viral and people get behind it, it gives me hope that we can build a better world.
Singh will continue his cross-Canada tour until February of 2018.
For international students that are graduating, it can be tough finding a job in a city where you don't know anyone.
Because you never know when you make connections, right? It could be someone for your next job.
NAIT hosted a student networking event for its international students. Alumni that were in the same position talked to the students and gave social media pointers and networking advice. International student Eric Castro reflects on his experience at this event.
International students that graduated from NAIT went through their process and then find a job, and start then coming back to talk to students about how they did it and what was their experience like, help you visualize how you're gonna do it.
Coordinator Freya Fu says this event has continued to grow since its inception and will continue to have one every semester.
The Shaw Theatre at NAIT will host what should be an emotional night.
I never expect myself to be 42 years old and shopping for the casket.
The feature film will be making its big screen debut this Friday. It focuses on the life of Sophia Siskakis, a 15-year-old girl who lost her life to a disease called pulmonary hypertension.
This girl, Sophia, was someone who was not going to be held down by a life-threatening disease. She was going to be whoever she wanted to be, and she wasn't going to let the disease define her, but she was going to define it.
Tickets are $15 and can be purchased at the door or online at eventbrite.ca. Half of all proceeds will be going to the Sophia Siskakis Foundation, and doors open at 6 p.m. this Friday.
Firefighter Class 147 is about to jump into action as they have now graduated. The recruits have undergone intense training and testing in both fire and medical disciplines. The recruits will be assigned to active duty throughout the city and continue the tradition of protecting the lives of Edmontonians. Fire Chief Ken Block explains how the graduates will be affecting the force.
These 27 new recruits really are going to give us a capacity to staff the new Pilot Sound Fire Station 30, cover for our retirements that we've had this year.
The 27 graduates in Class 147 exceeds the average of 16 in years past.
The Christmas spirit is in full swing as a new light show takes over the Castro Raceway. With eggnog and fire-roasted marshmallows on hand, Edmontonians can fill their bellies before getting back into their cars. The light show is a 2-kilometer drive showcasing light decorations that fit this holiday season. Castro Raceway President Kimberly Reeves says a partnership with the Ignite Company was a perfect fit.
When they approached us about this concept, it was kind of a natural for us. Obviously, anything auto related is near and dear to our hearts. So here's a way to, enjoy the holiday season from inside your car. And we love cars.
Castro Raceway and Ignite hope to make this an annual event during the holidays.
What a wild week of sports in the City of Champions.
Well, speaking of champions and championships, the Eskimos will not be playing for the Grey Cup this year, Dave.
They certainly won't be, Tony. But before we get into that, let's check out some Ooks action. The Nate Ooks were looking to take 3 out of a possible 4 points this weekend when they kicked off the tail end of a home-and-home with the St. Trojans on Saturday. Coming off a hard-fought double overtime tie, the Nate Ooks were looking to get physical early as Ryan Pichet, former Bonneville Pontiac, lays out Sate's Eric Kreinke with a clean body check. As we pick up later in the first, Nate winger Tanner Younghands races down the wing, but finds nothing but crest. The score stays knotted at 0s. The rough stuff continues as Sate's Zach McNeil, league leader in game-winning goals, lays out Tyler Coons with an open ice hit. Finally, after relentless pressure by the Ooks, the puck makes its way over to D-man Ty Stanton, who rifles his wrister right over the shoulder of Peyton Lee. 1-0 for the hometown Ooks. Skip ahead now to the second period when Matt McNeil snaps one up and over the glove of Peyton Lee, doubling the lead 2-0 Ooks. Only 8 minutes later, Sate cuts the lead in half as a scramble in front finds Colton McCarthy's shin pad and then the back of the net. 2-1 Ooks. Third period action now. After getting the puck in deep, Nate forward Thomas Foster, younger brother of former Goldenberg TJ Foster, centers the puck for Devin McAndrews, who makes no mistake. 3-1 Ooks. The Ooks would add another late in the third period to secure their successful weekend. Ty Stanton spoke to the team's ultimate goal.
Ultimately to win a championship, I think that's everyone's goal, and this year things look pretty good for us. We got a great team. I mean, we're ranked as a top contender in the league right now, so it's ours to lose, and we're just gonna have to work hard every day and put in the work to ultimately get that championship.
The Ooks improved to 10-1-1 on the season and look to add to their impressive campaign this upcoming weekend when they take on Red Deer College in another home-and-home series. After a loss over this past weekend to provincial rival Calgary, the Edmonton Eskimos were back in the City of Champions to clean out their lockers after what some view as a rather bizarre finish to the Eskimos season. A heavily scrutinized coaching decision near the end of the game had some around the city believing it was instrumental in throwing the game away. Head coach Jason Maas had this to say regarding his mindset.
My initial reaction, sure, was need to go, but then I real quickly thought about something else and thought I better do that. And so at the end of the day, I chose what I believed and what I thought was right. At the end of the day.
Maas wasn't the only one in the organization that had to answer for his decision-making over the weekend, as Eskimos GM Brock Sunderland quickly came to the defense of the longtime CFL and NFL quarterback.
And I support him.
Does he still have your full confidence?
Absolutely. I'll tell you this. In the CFL over the last 2 years, only one coach has won more games than he is. That says everything.
The Eskimos will have until next summer to reflect on the disappointing end to their season, as players and personnel are set to report back here on June 6th. With the cold weather coming in rather hot this winter, YEG residents are looking for winter activities to participate in earlier this year. Residents in the Edmonton area have been flocking to Snow Valley since it opened on Remembrance Day. Several families are ecstatic about the early opening this season.
It's a good activity. They get to be out in the winter.
Well, it means my daughter can try skiing for the first time a little bit earlier in the season.
It means a lot to me, actually. I take my kids skiing every winter, so often.
For avid snowboarders and skiers, Snow Valley is the perfect tune-up, as Marmot Basin and Jasper, as well as Sunshine and Banff, have opened up early as well. Pretty eventful week of sports, especially for the children of Edmonton.
I wish I had an extended ski season when I was growing up.
Well, I think it's time to dust off the skis. That wraps up this week in sports. Thanks, Dave. That's been your look at Second Edition News.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Hello and welcome to Cooking with Ernest. I'm Brendan Collins here today with Chef Josh Ward. Diners are becoming a big trend in food today, and what could be more of a diner staple than a nice juicy burger?
You're absolutely correct. So for today, the burger that we're using, I actually have a couple of different meats into the patty here. So I have a strip loin and a little bit of brisket in there as well.
Excellent.
And then what we're gonna do first is start off by just using a little bit of oil into the pan. So I like to do a pan fry a little bit more than a grill, because with the grill you actually have to put binders and other things to hold the meat together.
Yeah, of course.
But for pan frying, it's a little bit more delicate, and it actually gives it more of that crispy kind of crunch on the outside of the meat.
What would be the best kind of oil to pan fry with?
So I'm using canola oil today. It does have a higher smoke point versus, say, an olive oil or an extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
So yeah, you just want to make sure this pan's really nice and hot. The hotter it is, the quicker it'll cook, and it also sears the outside, which is the caramelization, that nice dark brown color that we're looking for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So at what time would you think that it would be done cooking?
So for these are a little bit thicker than a normal patty. For these, I would probably go about 2 or 3 minutes on each side just to have that initial sear on it, and then you can always finish them in the oven as well.
Oh, great. Yeah. What kind of meats go best to be in a burger?
So I like to use a lean meat and then a fatty meat, and it doesn't even have to be beef. You can even use pork as well, because pork has a higher fat content. So you could even take like 70% beef and then maybe about 30% pork, and then the fat content from the pork will actually be able to make a nice juicy patty.
That's awesome. Awesome. Are there other types of varieties of meat that you could use?
Yeah, you can use pork, you can use chicken, turkey, basically anything that you can grind up.
No way.
Yep.
And what do you top it with? Say like anything you can imagine?
Yeah, so it depends on your taste really. I like to keep it simple, do lettuce, tomato, a little bit of sauce.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm Brendan Collins here with Chef Josh Ward. For more recipes like this, go to natenewswatch.ca and click on the Second Edition tab.